keep good reporter down.
I was going to say, I was wanted to follow up on something you said this morning at the symposium. So I just want to be clear about the positional players. You're talking about Patrice playing for being able to play for McAvoy or whatever on the ice when it's less predictable for a team. It's hard to know where a player is at, where a person's going to be. On that note, I just wanted to confirm and clear what you said. Is that something that you've been seeing being coached into players and teams in the last 10 years or in the last 3 years? Is it a recent thing that teams are starting to do this?
Yeah, I would say last 10 years.
Last 10
Yeah,
years.
but it definitely started 10 years ago.
And that's, you think, where the NHL's kind of headed, where teams
I think that's why offense is, the scoring is going, because everyone's getting used to playing in those positions, so it's more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a transitional game that way. Like, everyone's interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken players, I think, growing up with it now are kind of used to it. So I think that's why the game is faster. Players are physically faster than they were even a decade ago. But more importantly, everyone plays faster.
Is it fun to coach against? I mean, it's difficult, but is it fun to coach against that style too? Where
It's hard,
unpredictable?
and that's why I always say, like I think the offense is going to be ahead of defense for, if you're looking at goals per game, over the next couple of years. But coaches will figure out, like they figured out how to go through the trap better and create offense. The defense is going to catch up. It's just the way the game goes, because you gotta figure out how to stop players like Makar, McAvoy, Lindholm.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, on that note, and just with the trend of scoring going up right now, do you think we're going to see sort of a change in how we look at goalies in terms of save percentage and what the standard is?
Yeah, naturally there should be, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think if I look at, like, when I broke in the league in '93, I think anyone near 900 was the elite goaltender.
Right.
Now, if you're below 915, you're not, right? So that'd probably be maybe 910 would be come back.
Yeah.
To be
You
in
think it's going back the other way, though?
It
right?
should, yeah, because the chances that are being created now are high-end chances. A lot of them are. Everyone talks about that slot line. If you go through the middle of the zone with a pass to another to a teammate, like those are they're hard to save, because now a goalie is not standing there square. He's like this, so there's holes.
How much of the positionless hockey is trusting your players to make plays that only they see in the moment and then execute on them? Like, how much of it is identifying, your group of players who have that leash, maybe, to use that term? Is that part of it? Turning over to them and saying, go play positionless hockey?
Yes, I mean, you still have, I guess, boundaries that you're giving people. Like, for instance, the D-man, we want them in the rush, but if there's nothing going on by the time you hit the top of the circles, you're not involved in the play. Let the forwards go, you know what I mean? We still want to have ice balance. But to what you're talking about, yeah, the onus has become more on the player with the puck to make good decisions so that we maintain the ability to have scoring chances over possession. And not so much, like in years, like if you go back 40 years when you played Beersy? No, but 30 years ago. If a turnover happened above the top of the circles in the offensive zone, and the defenseman was trying to get open offense, the defenseman got yelled at. Because he wasn't in a position to back up the play. That no longer is a mentality. It's been a big shift.
Back to goalies. Can we get a confirmation on who's starting tonight?
No.
All right.
No.
Gotta try.
Goalie Bob's on the ice. Yeah.
Same lineup?
Same lineup, yes.
Yeah. As the schedule picks up here, and you get to back-to-backs and things like that, will you give guys a blow and try and work other guys in? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, I think throughout the season, I think we moved people in and out of lineup, not because maybe they deserve to come out, just because we want to get people back in a rotation. But no one's been in kind of we've played 2 games in the last 8 days. So
Yeah.
after this, we start to get, and we'll have, I mean, naturally, you're going to get someone that, is maybe day to day, but someone else has to go in. So opportunities present themselves all the time.
Another one from this morning, John was talking about that quiet, active state for the defenseman. So does that necessarily mean, like, you don't want guys to be stick on puck all the time, that there are times when you're not pursuing the puck with your stick, so to speak?
I think when you are, if I'm on top of you, I'm going like this distance to you, I'm going to stick on puck. but if I'm another 10 feet back, I gotta set an angle to steer you into where I want you to take the puck. So then your stick has to be in the middle of your body. Because if I'm 10 feet from you and I go stick on puck, you're gonna cut back on me and get inside ice. Does that make sense? See? I know how to teach, see that?
Do you think that that positionless hockey will favor smaller defensemen, not necessarily because of the fact that there's less hitting, but because if they're good skaters, their elusiveness might help them in the structural areas?
It does, but I would say first and foremost, skating is gonna be the most important part of that. Whether you're 5'11" or you're 6'3", the fact that you can skate and defend that way, that's more important than the offensive part. Because the offensive part, it's more like your anticipation offensive, seeing a hole. Defensively, it's your ability to skate, because like we're talking about the stick on puck, you gotta take away the time and space with your feet first, then your angle, then it's your stick going through someone's arms in particular, you know.
We're at 32 teams now, there's a ton of high skill players, there's more and more coming, but do you still see 5-10 years down the road, there's a role for guys that kind of can't think that way, that just have a defined role, this is what we do, you know, whether it's fourth line guys?
Yeah, well, I think there's always going to be room in this game for guys who, A, think the game at a high level, and then B, compete hard. Like, the guys that, like, it's a fast game, and I was talking about skating, but to me, skating is third on the list as far as the skill that matters. And so, you know, you look at, you know, I've worked with Ryan O'Reilly. He's a player that's always, because of his compete level and his brain on the ice, he's gonna hit holes all the time. And I guess the best line I have, Brett Hull was explaining, you know, have you ever seen Brett Hull get caught on a breakaway? No, right? You never did.
That's a breakaway, so breakaway, but
Yeah, and that's because he hits the hole at the right time. He sees things happening. It's like these players that end up with breakaways all the time. Everyone's like, oh, they're cheaters. A guy coach shot control, he doesn't cheat. He just knows when the puck is being, and he's gone. You know, and it's the same thing for McDavid. Yeah, he's super fast. I get it, but he smells blood and he's gone. And that's something that's why those players that get breakaways all the time. It's always the same guys. I go back to that movie, the card movie with Ed Norton. Rounders.
Yeah.
Why is it always the same guy sitting at the table? It's not luck. They're not getting aces every hand.
What you look at Cale Makar, I mean, how, as a coach, how do you prepare your team to match up against him?
By studying him and being aware of, you talk about a player that's blessed with everything. He has compete, he has that anticipation, that hockey sense. He's blessed with great feet, he's blessed with being able to manipulate the puck with his hands. And then he can make finishing plays. So you're not going to deter him physically. So you gotta make sure that if you're late, you're staying above him. Like that you're angling him, and you talk about stick on puck, and steering him to areas where he can't beat you. So, because if you try and go too hard at him when he has the puck, he is going to beat you. It's a matter of how. It's not a matter of if you're gonna stop him and make a big hit. I've never seen him take a big hit in the league yet.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's because he has power, he has skating, and he knows how to manipulate your feet.
Is it an exaggeration to you to compare him to Bobby Orr?
No, it's not. Like, Bobby Orr is in a stratosphere by himself, but if there's anyone that's ever gonna come into that stratosphere, it's gonna be him, from what I see.
Good. Thanks, Coach.